There's little doubt Australia's textile sector is shrinking, thanks to a growing tide of cheap Asian imports. But things aren't necessarily as bad as they seem. Smart manufacturers like Creswick Woollen Mills have realised the way to stay in the game is to change how they operate.
Australian textile industry is very, very vibrant. We hear a lot of bad news stories, but there's a number of companies growing and developing. And the reason for that is because over the last 5-10 years, we have been forced to live in a global village.
Last year, Creswick Woollen Mills in country Victoria celebrated 60 years in business. That's no mean feat in an industry where the removal of tariff protection in recent decades has seen much production move offshore. Creswick's CEO Boaz Hertzfeld is the grandson of the mill's founder and says it's adapted to the changing times.
Our business model these days is roughly 50% of the company's products that it sells are imported and 50% roughly are Australian made. So therefore we're able to provide the customer an Australian made option if they require it and custom made product to their specification. Once upon a time there was literally 50-60 coloured woolen mills throughout Australia and unfortunately Creswick Woollen Mills is the last coloured woolen mill of its type left in Australia.
The changes have seen Creswick's workforce sink from about 90 in its heyday to around 30 today.
Approximately 5 years ago, Creswick Woollen Mills wasn't known for consumer products at all. Primarily the business was fabric. The risk there was we were selling fabric to manufacturers, a number of whom have gone out of business subsequently. What we aim to do is take control of a great part of the business with branded products, natural fibre products that are available to the consumer and where Creswick Woollen Mills is in charge of that supply chain.
The mill has now taken a punt on diversification and is now spinning alpaca fleece.
The actual fibre off the animal is a coloured fibre, beautiful browns and greys, and they're able to be spun in their natural state, creating an undyed product. These days people are very, very keen to have natural products. When I joined the business, my grandfather was 85 and he was still a raging bull. His management techniques were not what you'd call modern. He wasn't shy to share his experiences and opinions. 2 pieces of advice that he gave: don't import, they'll send you rocks, and don't deal with department stores, they'll send you broke.
They're 2 pieces of advice Mr Hertzfeld opted to turn his back on.
Now, taken literally, that advice is maybe not correct in this current environment, but it's 2 important lessons. Import quality control, and as manufacturers we excel at import quality control because we create very detailed specifications for our product. And dealing with large customers, for any business, you have to be very, very mindful that that large customer does not begin to rule and put your business at risk.
Turnover these days is between $4 and $6 million. Surprisingly, one aspect of the business that's growing is tourism, with around 40,000 visitors to the Creswick factory in the last year.
The thirst of the general public to see manufacturing occurring is incredible, and I guess that stems from the perceived lack of manufacturing in Australia. Being in a country town, we've been able to open our doors to the public. Australians have affinity with wool. It's something that's very curious to them, and they love to come in and see. And a visitor to Creswick Woollen Mills can see carding and spinning taking place, and are obviously able to take away either a souvenir or something functional for their home.
Artie Bettigary reporting, and that's it for the program. Thanks for your company. I'll see you next week. And now it's over to Gerard Waitley and the Offsiders team.